welcome to Entering the Darkness podcast. Of course, this is Colin, and of course, we have Dan here with us as well, our co-host, and we have Lindsay Manfredi right here from Cold. I'm pretty sure you guys know who they are. Pretty awesome band. They've been around for many years. And so, how are you doing today, Lindsay?
I'm doing great. It's evening here in Los Angeles. It's a nice
Hmm.
Saturday night. Love it.
Right on. Cool, cool. I mean, so first question I want to say here as we start out, I mean, like, Cold. How did this happen? How did this happen? The cold. How did this happen for you?
Oh man, God, I wrote a whole book about it. Well, it was just one of those things where I was touring with a band that we had I was touring with Saving Abel. I was in a different band and I was playing bass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge Cold fan and I've had the Cold Spider tattooed since 2002. And my photo was actually in the Year of the Spider album because I was that big of a fan that I sent my photo in to
Hmm.
be in their album. And it just so happened in 2014, my band at the time was out with Saving Abel, and someone saw my tattoo and saw me play and sent Scooter my photo, and they were looking for a new bassist, and I got the call.
Oh,
So
heck yeah.
it was a very surreal, crazy moment, and I'm so grateful for it. And that was 10 years ago, over 10 years ago.
10
So
years ago.
So what was like the emotion? Because obviously you're a super fan, and to
super.
get that phone call or email or to have that contact and be like, "Holy shit!" Almost like the Rockstar movie moment with Mark Wahlberg's character. Like, could you explain that feeling? Like, holy
I
shit!
Well, I was at a show and I was like we were
Mhm.
on tour with Saving Abel and we happened to be we were in my hometown of Indianapolis at the time, and Scooter had sent me a tweet, and then I had to look through my messages, and it was a shock moment, but it was one of those moments where I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I said yes. I was like, fuck yeah. And he was like, do you have a husband or anybody you need to talk to? And I was like, no, yes, let's go. Of course I'll tour with you and see what happens. And so at that point, when I got home, I started digging in and learning cold songs, and I had to learn them by ear, and but I just learned how to do it. I did the whole Richard Branson say yes and figure out how to do it
Hell yeah.
because I don't
Hmm.
play a five-string bass either. And I bought a Warwick five string, and I just because I started out on guitar and I had been playing a four-string bass for so long, Scooter was like, just do it with the four string. We'll octave it for super low parts, and it really hasn't been a problem
Hmm.
at all.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah, it was a crazy, surreal moment and beautiful, and I'm so grateful every day of my life.
Right
So
on.
Midwest girl, then,
Mhm.
Indiana.
Indiana, yeah, born and raised in Kokomo, Indiana, and but I was one of those girls that I moved away to start a band, so I packed everything in a minivan and moved to Florida, and wanted to be a rock star, and I was a body piercer, so a lot of my life has been around music, and I did take a hiatus, and I got my degree, and I had my child who's about to turn 21 on Friday, so it's just there's been breaks, but Midwest, and then I moved out to California in 2016.
Wow. So
Awesome.
you know all about the Midwest. Me and
I
Colin,
do.
born and raised here in Michigan, so we're Midwest crew.
Yeah, machine shop. What
Go
part
Oh
of
go
hell
them.
Michigan?
yeah!
What
Machine
part of
shop,
Michigan are you from?
Harpo's, the list goes on.
Yeah, my
Oh
dad
God.
actually lives in Michigan. He and his wife now they used to own the Hexagon House in Pentwater. So now they've moved about an hour from there. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Michigan.
I want to ask a question because I am going to purchase said book because I've read the message on the website and I'm like, man, this is awesome. The law of attraction.
Mhm.
Lindsay, explain to us a little bit about your book. Let me pronounce it right. Unfuckwithable.
Yes.
What made you want to write a book and put out? From what I've read on the website, is the law of attraction just a, a, a a really great message that a lot of people need to hear.
Well, so it was kind of a situation where I was going through a pretty gnarly breakup and I was reading all these things. I'm kind of in the same situation now. I'm actually working on my second book right now that is almost done. Like that's all I'm focusing on, like super focused. But when I wrote Unfuckwittable, A Guide to Inspired Badassery, it was one of those situations where I was like learning so much about myself, and I was reading a lot of Gabrielle Bernstein and Dr. Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle and all these great leaders. And I wanted to write a book from like a rock and roll perspective, from a, like there's a lot of people in our industry, in the adult industry, and just that aren't going to pick up a Dr. Wayne Dyer book. It just is what it is. So I wanted to write my story and share my experiences as I landed my dream job out of nowhere. Like the universe has always provided for me, and I feel like my life's been a little bit of a chess game with the universe and with God. So I just wanted to share that and to
Right
give
on.
people hope, because it's ultimately, we're here to serve people, and I serve people through music, and I serve people through my message and my newsletter, and that's very, very important for me personally. That's like a purpose in my life.
There is something to be said about that. I'm glad you said that, that we're not going to pick up a book from Dr. So-and-so. I mean, how many times do we go to our primary care doctor at that time of the year and they're like, you probably shouldn't eat this or you probably shouldn't do that. But if your wife or husband or a friend says, hey, you probably shouldn't do this, you're kind of more inclined to listen and take it more to heart and take the advice. So I think it's amazing that you have a book out that is pretty much from that perspective.
Yeah. I'm proud of it. It's 4 years old, so or 5 years. It'll be 5 years old this June. So it's time for a new one, and I'm excited about that. And we'll see what happens. And we've got a big tour coming up, which we're announcing
Ooh,
Saturday, Sunday, on the 7th, whenever the 7th is.
the
Wednesday.
7th.
Yeah, of
Any Phoenix dates?
course.
Oh yeah, there you
Yeah, of
go. When to
course.
come through? Like which? What? Okay, that's gonna be pretty cool.
I'm
So
not allowed to
good.
say anything.
I'm not allowed to
It's
say anything. Okay, well, yeah, totally
all coming
understandable.
out. Yeah, it'll
Totally
all be out.
understandable. Cool. All right. So obviously you've been on like many tours, I would imagine. So I mean, do you have anything that's incredibly crazy? Like any really, really crazy things that have happened, like maybe say bus breaking down, like tire go like you see the tire going beside the bus on the freeway, things like
Yeah,
that.
there's so many fun stories. But yes, that actually happened on our last tour. We
Mhm.
were playing whiskey, and it was when we were on tour with Orange, and we're driving down from Fresno, I think, and one of our tires flew into like yes, we totally shredded a tire, and it flew into the other lane on the 101. We're super
Oh
grateful
man.
got hurt, but yeah, it was pretty dramatic. But yes, we've broken down, we've gotten flat tires. You know, the road is a crazy place. You never know what's going to happen, and you have to just roll with it.
Right on. For sure, for sure. And it's so I mean, obviously being a woman in the industry though, especially like in the rock ilk like this, is it kind of I mean, is it harder to be a woman in the rock industry, especially like, with the status that Cole is at right now, or has it been easy?
Well, for me personally, I've dealt with some misogynistic people, people who have been assholes that are no longer around. But for the most part, I'm up there doing my job and doing my best to represent Cold in
Mhm.
the best manner that I can. So I don't feel like it's that hard. I got my dream job. I don't have a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
people talking shit. So, and like I said, I go up there and I serve the music. That's important to me to represent what Cold is all about.
Awesome.
Our band now is absolutely incredible. We've got a great group of people, and I'm really looking forward to new music, and just the next couple of years are very exciting what we have planned.
Awesome. Awesome.
I think it's really great,
Mhm.
especially when we were all growing up, listening to music and stuff. there was a female presence in music, but I don't think the female presence outside of a couple women was, I think it was that misogynistic viewpoint. You had to dress a certain way, the 80s with the girls in the videos. But now there's just, we got people like Lindsay and a host of others that are females that are just kicking ass. And it's great to see that diversity, especially is apparent in you're raising men and future women, and it's so they can see the diversity. And hey, you know this is a thing, and it's not just a men's dominated thing in music. It's just so great to see, especially nowadays.
Well, yes, I there are so many talented people out there, and as long as we're encouraging everyone to follow their dreams and follow their path and not break them down, that's always an important thing. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in the position that I'm in.
Ah, okay. I mean, so here's this kind of thing. So have you guys like had any kind of shows that have gone like really, really horribly bad?
Uh-uh.
No?
No, I don't think so. Horribly bad. There was, I think, one time, I think back in like our 2019 tour, I came in on the wrong place, and Everyone's the Devil was the very, very first song. It was the very
Oh
first.
no.
I had done some shots, so I don't drink
Hmm.
anymore. And but back then I was quite the little partier, and that might have been like the worst night. But I mean, shit, like people have bad nights, people have good nights. There haven't been, you know, we've had to cancel shows because we've showed up to venues and they've not been the right venue. That's happened a couple of times, but
Oh.
for the most part, life on the road is life on the road. We've got a really great crew now, and we have a great
Mhm.
booking agent, and everything's pretty ebb and flow.
Right
And
on.
so but yeah, there have been disaster nights, and then there have been like magical nights. It all happens. It's all part of it.
Oh, cool.
So what was the first? I know there was probably the first show jitters when you took the
Mhm.
stage with the band. Was it you were nervous? Was it you were confident? Was it you just couldn't stop cheesing the whole time? Like, oh my God, I'm here. What was
Yeah,
that first
no.
show like on stage?
So I'm a very prepared person. So like I'm already rehearsing for our first show that's in April. I'm already going through the albums. Uh, I'm a super prepared musician for when it's time to come, but I still, every single tour, every single first, second, and third show, I'm a basket case. I pace back and forth. And if you're ever backstage and you're ever around me, like I'm a mess. Uh, and then you get into the flow. But yeah, I'm nervous all the time. I get nervous doing podcasts. I get nervous speaking. I get nervous putting
Mhm.
myself out there. I do a 30 days of gratitude. I just did my third year. I'm nervous all the time, but I just have to say fuck it and just do the damn thing.
Awesome. And of course, as you said that you moved away from home to be, to join to be in a band basically, right? So like what got you really into this kind of stuff, into this like into or what made you want to be a musician basically?
Well, so I grew up in a very Christian home, and everything was like church, and I was very much a rebel. I'm the youngest of two or of three girls,
Hmm.
and we're all 4 years apart. And my family at the time was very much like secular music is bad, blah 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 blah. So I was always
Hmm.
sneaking around to listen to music, and I got really into Debbie Gibson and Madonna, and I just wanted to be a singer. I just wanted to be on stage. I knew I wanted to be a musician. And really, I was all about pop music until Pearl Jam and Nirvana.
Oh. Hmm.
So, the 90s came around, and then Hole. And I got my first guitar because we love. And I actually own one of her Fender Venuses. Or it was, well, it's not hers personally, but she co-designed it with Fender, and it's a little bit smaller for
Hmm.
females. And so I learned how to play some chords, and I learned how to play some chords on my dad's little Alvarez. classical acoustic that he had when he was in the army, and I just started writing my own songs. So I just wanted to play music. I wanted to be a front girl. I wanted to be Courtney Love. And I started having like all, you have Kim Deal and you had L7, you had all
Mm,
these
yes, yes.
female bands that I got to watch. PJ Harvey. I was so Beth Orton. I was so into all of the music. And then I got into
Okay.
glass when I was in Florida, and I was in a band called Pretty Machine Gun, and I had dreadlocks, and I just wanted to play hardcore music, and I had just gotten into cold, and I just loved it.
Mm. Cool, cool.
But Debbie Gibson and Courtney Love and Madonna got me into music.
Is that what you got into the music? That's a pretty interesting mix to do that. And then of course now you're in cold and now you're in like all the other stuff. So that's really that's a really, really interesting way to do that. And so especially being from the Midwest, so of course you would probably understand that like how pretty much there's almost like nothing there, just like basically cornfields and woods and everything like that. So the only thing really to do is to either, do like at least in my from when I was in Michigan, when I was living in Michigan, growing up in a small town, it was either, a life of crime or music.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that and
And
music sometimes both put together.
right, exactly. And so it's a kind of so it's just kind of like one of those deals, and it seems, and I can see that as the way you as a Midwesterner, both of us as Midwesterners, you know what I mean. So it's just kind of like you got that bug pretty early, and you followed it. It seems like so that's a really really cool story right there.
I think
What
it
you got?
always seems to be like that, the rebel thing. Music and the arts have always been like that rebel thing. Because I can agree that I grew up in a Catholic household, secular, and while my parents didn't necessarily hate on the music, they love music. They were hippies, believe it or not, even in a secular household. Music and the arts was just that escape to where, all right, I can get away from my parents and the structure and go rock out and do something and pick up an instrument and having a cassette player and vinyl records. I could make my own mixtapes and listen to stuff and take my cheap Squire guitar I had over to friends and pop in a cassette, and we were horrible as shit, but we still did it anyways. And,
Great.
and so I was like, God, it's like the arts and music is like the rebellious thing against like the parents and the secular stuff to get out and be you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love the fact that I grew up in the 80s and the 90s because I got some great music. Uh, and I'm just curious if computers would have been such a big thing back then, if I would have been doing a lot more production because I'm so lazy. I don't really get that much into production so much, and I sometimes want to, but I just don't. I'm just like let someone else handle that and deal with that. But I wonder if that were a thing, if I would have been more apt to do it back
I'm
then.
glad you said that. I felt so alone for a while. Like the computer aspect of doing the music, I just want to play.
Yeah, I don't want to learn how to engineer, but I have learned how to do like Logic Pro and stuff because I did like all the editing for my audiobook, and so I am learning some things and here and there. But yeah, I just want to play and I want to write books and I want to help inspire people.
I was out at a
Awesome.
buddy's a couple weeks ago, and we were recording some music together. And he's real savvy. Shout out to my good buddy Spencer, monster guitar player. But he is real savvy with knowing how to work the recording setup and stuff. And
Mhm.
as crazy as this sounds, and everybody laughs at me, I can't play for crap to a click. I am in the moment. I can lock in with everybody and the drummer and play on time. So
Gotcha.
You can, you can.
he put the click on. Colin can attest to it.
Yeah.
So he puts the click on, and okay, record, start playing. So I'm playing and stuff like that. And he's like, everything was good, but this one part. And he's like, that's okay. I'll copy paste and I'll punch you in here. And I'm like, let me just do it all over again. And it took me 3 times, and then I got it good. But he is very good with the computer, and it's like, man, it's like I'm starting to get into recording and playing to a click and getting everything. I can hear a time signature, and
Mhm.
okay, my brain can hear it, but that click, I just can't do it.
Interesting. Yeah, I love playing to a click. We play to a click on stage. We have to.
Mhm.
It keeps the time. It's pretty important. But it's all good. Everybody's different.
I guess I ended up that way though. It was the way that I've always been, and I some people have actually how do you put that, patronized me for it and everything like that. They're like, dude, you should actually like not just keep using your ear. Because
Right.
like because I constantly use my ear all the time because it's like the way that I've never I can tell what the note is. Like if I'm not exactly on it, I can get pretty close. You know what I mean? And just like very, very, very close. And Dan has seen that. I can get very, very close. And then usually and same like with him, I can tell when somebody's way out. Like even if everybody's like in the like if everybody's like all in the mix, you hear the drums, you hear the singer, you hear everybody. I can tell when somebody's way out, and I'll just be like, just kind of start shaking my head. I'm like, no, 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 no. So, I'm like, something's off, something's buzzing. You know what I mean? And it's but uh, that's just always been me. I don't know. People hate that when I do that for whatever reason. They're like, dude, you got to learn how to read the music and sight read. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of musicians that are known that can't even read music, but
Yeah,
but they have an ear. You
I
know?
don't music. I'm not classically trained. I learn everything by ear. So fuck
Man,
everybody.
you guys are making me feel like the weirdo, like the odd one, because
Uh,
I
it's
can read sheet music.
good for you. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
I
everybody.
don't know how, but I can
But
read sheet music. But the click is something. It's like every time I go to record, everybody kind of looks at me like I'm the guy walking in the room late, and they're like, "All right, Dan, let's get the click going." And I'm like, "It is the professional way, guys." So I'm a work in progress.
Work in progress. So yeah. I mean, well, like reading tabs and stuff, definitely. You know, that was one of the ways I learned how to play like a lot of the different songs too, though, was like when I learned how to read tablature in high school. You know what I mean? Um, but that was actually too, I think, is that how you learn songs though, Lindsay? I mean, do you just listen to it and then just play along with it or?
listen to it and figure it out because there's no tab for quote out there. So
Mhm,
uh, sometimes it's really fast, and sometimes I'm like, hey, I need help with this. But yeah, I just listen to it and write it down.
mhm,
Hold notes.
exactly.
I have the notes.
Oh yeah, that's the way I've been for like the last 25 years of playing bass too. So it's kind of like I can hear it and I'm like, okay, that's it. And then boom,
I've
there's that.
had notebook for cold for over 10 years.
What's that?
I've literally had the same notebook for over
Oh,
10 years.
same notebook. Oh, yeah. All right.
We are super gear nerds.
Oh boy. Mhm.
Super gear nerds. I'm in my
I'm not a super nerd, but I can maybe talk to you about some gear stuff.
um. What what is your setup that you use live? Like your basses, your amps, your cabs. Are you a digital person that's taking advantage of the digital era with a preamp?
No, I have an endorsement with Ashdown, so I play through
Cool.
an Ashdown 410 head, and I have the Shavo head because I'm a huge Shavo fan, and I used to have the Butler Geezer one, but I've got Shavo now. I play through Dark Glass as a preamp, the Alpha Omega pedal. And I recently, like for part of the tour last year, I played through the Dark Glass Alpha Omega actual head because my Shavo blew when we were in Austin, and one of my good friends loaned me his. And I'm having my Shavo currently in the shop. So, but that's usually my rig. It's just very simple. It's the Alpha Omega preamp into the Shavo head into the Ashdown 4x10.
Oh
You're laying
man.
down some power. Damn, the
Looks
Alpha
like
Omega and the woo.
good
Yeah,
God, you're shaking the house.
yeah, I do shake the house. It's great. And I'm pretty like strict. Like I have the settings. I know how I want it to sound, and
Mhm.
that's it. So I also have I have a couple custom basses. Uh, they're made for me, and they're like the Lindsay Manfredi series through Diamond Guitars. However, I also play Fender. So the last two tours we did, I played the Fender Jazz. I have a Fender, I've got all Fender basses. I have
Ooh, nice.
a Jazz, I've got a P bass, I've got a Jaguar, I've got uh, 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 shit, I forget what it's called. It's in my closet. Yeah,
Awesome.
Mustang.
Actually, Dan,
Mustang. It's a
Mustang.
Mustang.
Got it. Well, actually, Dan can tell you this though. It was like when we were still jamming out in Michigan. I was using, was it a Behringer BX 4500,
You were
right?
laying down some power. That's why I can't
Oh
fucking
yeah.
hear you anymore.
Right. It's like yeah, it's a BX 4500. I had the little BA 410 with aluminum cone 410 speakers on top. On the bottom, I was running a Laney 215. And
Gotcha.
so it was pushing so much power. It was like I couldn't even like you could hear like the freaking windows rattling. Like if I even put it up on one or two, it was just everything was just rattling. If I turned it up any louder, it would have brought the whole freaking you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
Oh man,
yeah.
that's some serious power. Is Diamond? I didn't think Diamond was still around anymore, Lindsay.
Well, they were. I don't know what they're doing now, but yeah.
Being in LA, have you had well, some people I know a lot of friends I have within the industry. Have you ever been to a NAM show?
Oh, yeah, I go to NAM every year.
Every year?
We're endorsed by Ernie Ball and Ashdown and uh, um, God, Jim Dunlop. So I've gone to NAM for. I mean, I've been to four, so I guess not every year, but yeah, I go to NAM.
The Dunlop people, I can't. They don't like my, or I can't call him anymore. I'm not going to say his name, but he was endorsed by Dunlop for years when he was on the road, and he used to say, "Hey, call up, da 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 da, say this." I'm not going to go into specifics because I don't want other people doing it. And they would send me strings and stuff based off of his endorsement.
Oh,
I was real particular about it. Yeah, it was good times. But God bless the Dunlop folks. They're good folks. All those companies are great companies to work with.
Dunlop is Dunlop's amazing, dude. Honestly, like I even because Dan, I think you've seen the other guitar that I have. It's the Harley Benson. Like it looks like an SG. It's really
Yeah,
cool. And it's like I use like those really thick like 1.5 or 2.5 kind of like thick Dunlop picks, the turtle, like the really thick ones. And my
yeah.
God, it's just amazing stuff. Those Dunlop picks, there's oh my God, you know.
I like Ernie Ball strings too. I like them all. Now, Lindsay,
GHS, man. GHS all the way.
I have a question. I heard something about possible new music in the future. Is there anything you can delve into, or is it nothing that's really happening yet?
well, yeah, it's big. We're writing new music now. Nothing I can really say as far as release times, but yes, we're definitely looking at new music this year.
Oh man.
Oh, mm, good stuff. Man, actually, I actually told a buddy of mine, who I've known since high school. I was in a band with this guy, for years back in high school. My friend Brian, he's been a huge fan of Cold for years. And then I told him, I'm like, dude, I've got Lindsay we got Lindsay coming in for our podcast. He's like, oh my God, dude. He's like, oh my God, dude, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, don't worry. I'll dedicate it to you, bro. You know? I'm like, I'll dedicate it to you, bro, because he just was like, he's always really been into you guys, into Cold. So, so I'm really gonna probably. I'll probably tag him when I post this video. I was like,
The wife said not to bring up my story because it'd be stupid.
okay. No, well, now you got to tell it.
Huh. All right. Well, we've been together for 7.5, almost 8 years. It's been a long time. Anyways, when we first got together, every couple has their squabbles and stuff. And we'd separate and she'd go to her part of the house. I'd go to mine. And I'm the musician. So I got music. So I got 100 songs I can play to be silent in the room. And I think you guys can already guess what song I would play.
Hmm. I got it.
And she would walk by and she'd be like, turn that fucking song off. I love that song and that band, and you are going to ruin this for me.
Oh God. I know exactly what it
She
is.
said, don't tell that story tonight. She's like, that's one of my favorite songs. It's got a
Oh,
good message behind it.
Oh God.
She's like, you were being a typical man. And she's like, that's not even what it means. She's like, don't tell that story.
Oh God.
Sorry, babe.
Oh. Oh, she heard it, didn't she? Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. I think you're sleeping on the couch tonight, bud.
Probably.
God. Uh-oh. No, to piggyback off what Dan said about like, do you have a favorite song?
oh, I love so many of the songs. I don't really have a favorite one. I love to play Ocean live. That's one of my favorites. Another Pill is another one of my favorite songs to do. I'm a fan, so I love so many of the songs. Pretty much all of
Hmm.
them. I love doing all of it.
Oh,
Right on.
so has there ever been a song that's like a deep cut that you've like went to the rest of the band and said, "Listen, we have to play this." Has there been a
Oh
song that you've had to be like, "We have to play this"?
no, I I don't do that. Scooter is he's the boss. We play what he wants us to play. I definitely sometimes want to play a song and be like, yeah, we did anti-love song during a lot of the shows on this past tour. And there were nights that we didn't do it, and I would be like a little bummed because I love playing that song. But other than that, no, I go out there and we vibe it out and decide like we have a pretty much set list when we go out. Yeah, we have suggestions or things. Sometimes we get to play them and sometimes we don't.
Hmm.
It
Right on.
just depends on the vibe.
Least favorite weather condition to travel in
Oh,
the
Oh,
day
man.
of the show.
no, snow and rain. Those are the worst.
Snow
Snow
and
and rain.
rain.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I have to take Xanax if we're like in a snowstorm. Just yeah, I get pretty
Hmm.
stressed out being on a tour bus, but at the same time, like we have careful drivers. But yeah, I hate traveling in snow and I hate traveling in like tornado condition rain.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you remember Dan? Do you remember the story Scott told us?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know Scott from Bleeding Through, the band Bleeding Through, but all right, yeah, he told us a story about like how his old band Bleeding Through ended up on Inside Edition because of a van accident they got into in Colorado.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not,
Yeah,
not a
like
fan
it
of
was
that.
actually. No, it was like actually captured on the news. Like I guess that they were already there covering news was already covering a what was it like already covering an accident, and then on the actual news thing, you can actually see the van spinning. So like they got him.
Oh, that's
It was like,
awful.
yeah, that was he was so that when you were mentioning that about like about the road thing, I'm like, oh yeah, that made me that reminded me of what Scott told us, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
Colorado is terrifying when it's snowing. That's
oh man, especially coming off the 80 from what he was saying, coming on the 80 like that, and it's just kind of oh man, you know, you can't see anything.
What's the funniest thing that you've ever been witness to on tour? Whether it was something in the crowd, something loaded into a venue, or out on the road at a truck stop at a gas station. What's something that you and the band and you guys just cracked up laughing about it for days?
Oh man, we laugh our asses off every single day. Like everyone in the band is so funny and hysterical. Is there isn't anything that specific that I could possibly
Hmm.
say because everyone is so
That makes
Hmm.
it fun to travel though, because
funny.
you can laugh nonstop and just have a good
Oh,
time.
we really have a great time. I'm very blessed with the people that I get to be in a band with because they're all great.
Hmm. Have there been any weird like tour bus things happening? Like like anybody snoring, any kind of like people like
But
passing out on the floor?
Did anybody take a number two in the toilet on the bus?
no, we're
You
not
can't
allowed
shit
to
on the bus.
chat. You cannot shit on the bus. Yes, we have had members like brown bag it, like have to or plastic bag it. That doesn't happen very often. Our drivers are pretty great about getting us to a rest area.
Hmm.
Uh, there was one unfortunate incident with our drummer. We feel like he got roofied or something, and so he was like passed out in the middle of all of the bunks. And I have photos and video of it, and we all giggled about it for a while, but he was really bummed. So we, because it made him sick. So we don't know what happened that night, but everybody snores for the most part, but it's very loud in the bus, so you can't really hear it. When we're in our bunks, it's pretty drowned out. I don't really hear anybody else. I listen
Was that
to or whatever. And the air conditioning is always like super full blast, so that's loud.
Now, since your experience with the road, Lindsay, and depending on, I don't know, festivals have catering and stuff, but when you guys are on your own tour, what is the one food that you avoid, whether it's at a gas station, a restaurant, or whatever that's out there at the venue? What is the one food you're like, I got to avoid that at all costs, or this is going to be a bad day?
Oh, I don't know. Uh,
Not White Castle.
I don't even eat that food anyway. I try to avoid hot dogs. Not a big fan. I'm pretty boring on the road. Like I always have cottage cheese and like peanut butter and jelly and yogurt and that kind of shit. It's like so I I usually lose a lot of weight on the road. But yeah, everybody eats whatever whenever. It just sometimes it doesn't matter. You can't really be too picky when you're out there. I try to stay away from hot foods.
Yeah.
Rapid fire questions. All right. All right. What are the 3 things that you absolutely must need for a tour? You can only bring 3 things. What are the 3 things that you absolutely have to have that you're bringing?
Okay, I have to have baby wipes. I have to have my makeup, and I have to have my Doc Martens. And of course my dresses, but I have to have like my gear.
Doc Martens. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. What is your favorite thing to do on the bus after a show besides sleeping? Can't say sleeping.
Okay, my favorite thing to do is to get off the bus. We always kind of recap and we all talk shit and then we laugh. And I always wash my face in the front room. Like I've got my little wipes and I do my whole like skin routine. And then I go to sleep. I read. I'm such a huge reader, so I also read a lot.
If you were to order a pizza, if you're a pizza person,
Of
what is
course.
your perfect pizza, man? What is your perfect pizza? What is Lindsay's perfect pizza?
Okay. My perfect pizza is like a New York style pizza, thin crust. It has to have a perfect amount of salt on the crust, like sea salt. But it has to be cheese or margarita. So I have this thing where I'm a meat eater. I eat meat, but I do not eat meat on my pizza. I don't even like the taste of pepperoni. I hate it. So the guys always have to order me a separate cheese pizza, and they can get what they want.
You guys have a rider, correct?
We do not. I mean, we have had a rider before, but we do not anymore. We prefer to just take the buyout and just get our own stuff because we all go shopping and we all have our own kind of weird things that we eat.
Damn, you killed that question. But I was going to ask you, what is the
What's
weirdest
the
thing you
craziest thing on
guys
the
have?
rider?
Not crazy, but weirdest. Like I'm a consumer of, I call it bougie waters, bottled waters.
Mhm.
So every time I'm out somewhere and I see a new brand of water, I'm like, ooh, I got to try that. And the
Like a
wife's like,
football,
you're so weird.
like a
Yeah,
football helmet filled with cottage cheese.
we do liquid death sometimes. They help us, like they send us cases before every tour, and so we're kind of sponsored by them.
Hmm.
But other than that, I try to have liquid death with me on stage, but sometimes it's not able to happen. But that's typically what I like to put with me, like take with me on stage.
That's one of my favorites right now. I like that. And I can't pronounce the name. It's the Hawaiian one that's in the blue thing. I call it Wakanda water.
No, I'm not sure. I don't know if I know about it.
It's good. Anyways, biggest fear on the road. What is your biggest fear of something happening, whether it's embarrassment or what?
Car accidents.
Car accident.
There's
That's
been
right.
outside poisoning. We have a good buses, but like those are like the one thing I do. I'm terrified. I've had a fear of car crashes in general. That's why I have to be medicated sometimes to sleep. But I'm very anal. Like I always have conversations with the bus drivers that we don't go above 65 miles an hour. I feel like the road safety is so important, but that's my biggest fear. And I try to not think about those fears because I don't want to bring those things into existence, but that's the thing.
Now, you said you spent time as a piercer down in Florida, correct?
I was a body piercer for
Body
years.
piercer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, what was the one thing you absolutely disliked piercing, or this is a two-parter, sorry, or it was somebody came in and asked for it and you were kind of like, oh, here we go again, one of these. What was the one thing?
Well, I mean, you always had your belly buttons. That was normal. I did a lot of piercings on dancers, exotic dancers in Florida, because there's a lot of nude bars there. So I've literally pierced everything. I've pierced the craziest things on men as well. So yeah, that life was so long ago. You know, it seems like I feel like I've lived 100 lifetimes in this one.
What is your favorite Midwest? And this is it. This is home.
Oh, chili.
Chili.
I'm actually gonna make a white chicken chili tomorrow.
Yes.
The Colts are on at like 10. The Chiefs are on at 125. My good friend's coming over. We're gonna make some chili, and it's gonna be a great, nice little delightful. I have a podcast interview tomorrow as well. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a fun little day.
Colts fan. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, so I need the Colts to put one on the Chiefs tonight. So go Colts.
Well, the Colts aren't playing the Chiefs.
I thought they were playing the Chiefs. Who's playing the Chiefs?
Broncos. They just got to Denver.
I
I'm a
thought.
Colts fan and I'm a Chiefs fan. So
Oh wow! I just put 2 nails in my coffin. I'm a Ravens fan.
gotcha. It's all good.
You're not even the Lions, dude. Come on, man. You're disappointing me, Detroit. Come on now.
My dad's a Detroit fan, but that's all good. I love good football. I've got I'm on fantasy league, so I'm fans of lots of different players across the league. So I watch a lot of football.
I hope you didn't draft Christian McCaffrey like my wife did, and I told her
No,
not to.
no, just got third in my league so far right now, so I'm doing pretty well.
Okay, last question. Since we're with arts, everybody's got tattoos and stuff.
No, I don't.
Oh well. Well, I'm sorry, Colin. Are you a fan of, if you are, a fan of modern cars or classic muscle cars? And what
I
is your favorite
okay,
muscle car?
first off, I hate muscle cars.
Oh!
I can't. I think it's so ridiculous. If someone picked me up in a Mustang, I would probably like if I was going to go on a date and someone drove a Mustang, I would probably not date you because you were driving a Mustang. I hate muscle cars. I'm a fan of bougie, like drive a Volvo or a Mercedes or anything, just not a muscle car
BMW?
or a BMW. I don't know. I don't even care if it's Toyota. Just I'm not a muscle car fan.
Hey, I respect that. That is an honest damn answer. I respect the hell out of that.
Or a Tesla. If you pick me up in a Tesla truck, I will call an Uber. I'm not getting that.
Mm.
Last question here. This is the last one, I promise. And this, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know the TV show, but I like to leave everybody with humor. Are you related to a man named Dwight from Oklahoma?
Dwight from Oklahoma.
Watch the Tulsa King.
Oh, I mean, I've seen that show. That's Sylvester Stallone. That's Taylor Sheridan. Everybody when that show came out, everybody was like, "Oh, Manfredi." I was like, "Oh my god, no, I'm not." I haven't. And when it first came out, I watched a couple of episodes, and I should probably watch it. I'm a huge Taylor Sheridan fan, but right now I'm watching Landman, and I just like since New Year's Eve, I've had kind of a rough like couple of months and I've just been kind of secluded, keeping to myself. And I just started watching The Handmaid's Tale again, and I'm on season 3. And I'm just watching The Handmaid's Tale and writing my book and working out. This pretty much and playing my bass, like going through songs. That's pretty much been my life and reading.
Awesome.
What shows should I be watching?
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Squid Game.
I really like the Tulsa King.
Okay,
I'm I'm a huge Sopranos nerd.
I've seen every single one.
My wife is Italian, so she's never seen it, so we've been rewatching it.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's a great show.
I really don't watch too much of the new stuff that comes out. I was into the Western one that was on with Kevin Costner, Yellowstone.
So good. I just finished that. The season finale was a couple weeks ago. Oh goodness, I'm a kind of a nerd with that stuff, but I've been trying to like limit my screen time because I've been working on the book. because I can get distracted very
I do
easily.
like that's one that the Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, geez.
So,
Oh, that one's really funny. Yeah, I watched that a long time ago, like in 20
you
like
know,
17 or 18. That came out a
I
long time ago.
I
So
catch
yeah,
up
that's a
on
great.
everything after it's been out for a while. My wife keeps me in tune with what's happening with the child, what's hip to him. I say stuff and they make fun of me all the time because I'm like light years behind.
Oh yeah, aren't we all? I'm in my late 40s. I get it, or mid 40s. I don't want to age myself.
I just turned 40 last year, so I'm kind of like, so now as I'm looking at it too, I'm kind of like, my God, dude. I'm like, kids these days have no idea how freaking awesome it was back then. You know?
Right.
Yeah. This is like, good God. No, but
Lindsay, thanks so much for coming on tonight and spending some time and answering some questions and letting us and the viewers know all about you and what's going on. We are going to have some links down below to your website. I will be picking up a copy of your book. I suggest everybody go there and check it out
definitely,
because there's some really good stuff that I think people are going to like, especially in this day and age with a lot of hate and division. It's the law of attraction, and it's
Yeah,
got some
this
good
is not
messages,
a hateful book. It's a very bring people together.
right?
Enough going on out there. We just need love and
hmm
kindness, and you never know what people are going through.
for
So
sure.
we will have some links down below, and hopefully everybody can go check it out and pick up a copy of the book. Do you have a working title for your next book that you can tell us
I
about?
do. I'm not, I mean, I can't really say it yet. I'll be announcing it soon. It's going to be out for pre-sale probably in April.
Okay.
It'll be
And
on the same website.
It will be on the same website, and it'll probably be pre-sale on Amazon and all those things. I'm currently working with the people to figure that all out.
and of course, Lindsay, you're always welcome to come back onto the, anytime,
Love
and
that. Thank you so much, Colin.
no problem. And of course, it's always, it's really, really awesome that you came all the way down here. And remember to everybody out there that's watching this, of course, definitely, definitely subscribe, like this channel, like everything you like here. This definitely helps us out a lot. And Lindsay, of course, awesome person, very, very cool person right there. And again, hopefully when you guys roll through Phoenix, if you guys roll through Phoenix, hopefully maybe we can all, chill, have some beers or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't drink, but yes, we can definitely chill and maybe grab a coffee or
Bring
water.
a pot of chili.
Totally
And
down.
bring our chili. Yes.
Totally down. All right.
And
So,
we'll see you in Michigan. So,
all right. So
um,
again, thank you guys so much here. Thank you guys for tuning into Entering the Darkness podcast. We will see you guys next time here. And again, once again, thank you so much for coming in, Lindsay. Peace, guys.
all right. Well, maybe next time we'll talk more music.
Definitely. All
Of
righty.
course.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye
Bye.
bye.